This is the Airbus A350-1000, one of Airbus's wide-body long-haul aircraft. IPAX released this jet in Aerofly FS a couple of days ago and bought it straight away. It offers in-depth system simulation of the actual aircraft, and I'm quite excited to try it out. We'll be flying this airliner today for the first time, just a quick test flight from Manila and back. With that said, let's jump into the cockpit. Look at these big screens. Such a spacious cockpit, I should say. I mean, look at that wardrobe. The panels are quite identical to the Airbus A320, so we'll be able to figure it out in no time. Really cool sound design as well. They recorded the real deal and put the sounds here. Well, let's fire her up. As always, we start by turning on the electrical systems. There. But the aircraft doesn't know where it's at yet. That's why we need to align the IIS or ADIRS, which takes a couple of minutes. So we'll do a quick fire test first, and then prep the other system just like these fuel pumps. One thing that's new to me is this FMS or flight management system. It looks very different from what I'm used to, but I sure can work my way through. It's still an FMS either way. I got our flight plan imported in already. It'll take us from and around back to Manila Airport's runway 06. Let's set up the init page. Navigating the FMS works by touch, but we need to use this key unit to input every information. Just like that. And this is the OIS, or Onboard Information System, and it's also touchscreen. What it does is it allows us to put parameters for every phases of every flight by taking in weather information, runway conditions, and airplane load and others. Cross-checking it with the FMS enables us to better plan our takeoff and landing conditions that we need to meet. Right now, I'm filling up our takeoff conditions so we can get the calculated speed to take off safely. And once done, I can hit compute and the OIS will work the magic. And there's our V-speeds with weight, flap setting, runway condition and length, weather, and aircraft load and balance taken into account. And then all we have to do is put it in the FMS. Modern avionics works like magic. I'm absolutely mind blown. This time around, I'm doing the same process but for our landing calculations. And that's our approach speed. And down it goes to the FMS. With all that set, let's turn on the APU and get the aircraft systems run internally. Listen to this sound. Let's turn on some signs and check the APU page to see how's the startup. That's the sound of a small jet located here at the tail section known as APU or Auxiliary Power Unit. The plane will automatically switch to internal power once the APU is ready to provide us power and air. Finally, some air conditioning. I mean, I could also have started it as soon as we get inside the cockpit. I just forgot, but we are connected to a ground power unit, so I think it's fine. We'll be just hella sweaty. It's time to push back and start our engines. But I can't, cause I'm driving this push-tug vehicle as well, so I have no time in the cockpit to do so while being pushed back. We'll do it once we are situated on a taxiway. Look at that beauty. I can fly the plane in this sim, no problem. But the pushback, not really good at it. I mean, it's the ground handling crew that do it in real life. Sadly, we don't have that here. We do everything. I'm turning off the AC momentarily since I need all the air from the APU to start the engines. The cabin is cold already, so no complaints please. That low whining sound, so much eargasm. Hear it again. Good start on engine 2, let's go start engine number 1. Let's hear the Rolls-Royce Trent engines once again. Really cool sounds. Anyway, speed brakes armed, flaps 1 and listen. Good job for IPAX with the sound. Well, they recorded the real A350 sound, so what can I say about it being close to the real thing when it is the real thing? Going back, I got the APU turned off since the engines are doing its job now and the AC is back on too, plus the taxi lights cause it's time to taxi to the runway. Here's another feature of the A350. Look at that. Airport map on the nav display. I have it on the OIS too, but I just like it on the nav display. Clear left. Clear right. Here comes a 90-degree turn. Just to remind you, I'm used to the Airbus A320 that carries about 160 passengers. This thing carries 400. This plane is big. Turns like this are tricky, you got to be careful not to turn quickly but smoothly and gently glide that nose wheel, or else the aircraft's momentum will just continue pushing the nose wheel forward instead of actually turning the plane. That's Manila Airport's Terminal 2 by the way. Just don't mind the planes, it should be all Philippine Airlines jets there. I'm taxiing fast on this part, about 25 knots. It's a straightaway anyway, so it should be fine. Hold short is at the end, next thing you know is we are lining up the runway. Now that's a sexy airplane. And after 5 minutes of taxiing, we're lining up Manila Airport's runway 06. Strobes and landing lights on. Let's take this bird in the air.
Stabilize. 1560 SRS. Autotrust blue. Rotate. Positive rate. Gear up.
That was a wonderful departure. Now let's get the flaps up and fly this thing. We'll engage AP1 and let the plane fly and manage itself. I'll turn the air conditioning once again. I turned it off earlier to ensure the engine uses its full potential at a derated thrust of flex 60. Do you recognize this island in the middle of Laguna Bay? Yes, that's Tulame Island. An island that's shaped like a blade of a spear. I'm gonna go set our final altitude since we'll be descending shortly. That's Mount McKeeling in Laguna. And we have reached our top of descent. Time to bring her down. About 1,000 feet per minute, slow and gentle descent. And that is Tower Lake at the distance. I'm gonna slowly deploy the flaps one at a time as we slow down further for landing. That's a really beautiful raked wingtip. Airport is right over there and we are currently flying downwind. I'm now preparing the aircraft further for landing at this point. Another cool thing about the A350 is this heads-up display. I'm now arming our spoilers and getting the flaps down further. Instead of a rotary selection for auto brake settings, A350 has an on and off button instead. Because auto brake settings are decided by the FMS. We are now trying to capture the ILS guidance to get situated to the runway, and I'm getting the plane even slower. And now we are turning final for approach. So far so good. We can now slow down to our final approach speed of 153 knots provided by our OIS computation. And also getting that last set of flaps as we are doing a flaps full configuration landing. I have also turned on the approach mode, which makes the aircraft follow the ILS on its own and should be able to take this plane safety to the ground automatically, but we are only using it until about 1,000 feet, then we'll be hands on the stick.
Check. Autopilot disengage. Bird on.
I am now manually flying this plane at this point, but the speed is maintained by the auto thrust.
Above.
Check.
300. Minimum
Continue.
200.
Correction alignment. And we are a little high.
100. 70, 60, 50, 40, 30, 20. Retard. Drive.
Spoilers. Reverse green. Diesel.
Let's see that landing again from the outside view. Not really that butter, but it was a very comfortable touchdown for a first try. Here's passenger's perspective. And for a close-up look of the touchdown, here's a belly view. On touchdown zone, and on center line as well. I'm surprised of my own landing. I didn't expect to hit the touchdown zone on point and that center line. Overall, that was an excellent landing.
Auto brake off.
Let's vacate the runway and taxi back to where we came from at Terminal 3. Overall, the Airbus A350 is really good. Systems works perfectly, the warnings, the sounds, the functionality is all on point, but of course there are still some sparse parts of the aircraft that isn't simulated because it isn't that necessary, like the weather radar, because we don't really have any weather system in this sim other than normal day clouds and wind simulation, and those missing features won't affect really with the overall flying experience. For me, it wasn't that hard to fly since I'm very much familiar with the Airbus principles and their systems. Like Swiss 001 said, this plane is like the iPad of the skies. Complex systems made simple by advanced avionics and cockpit innovation. Was it worth my money? To have this kind of immersion in my palms, I'd say yes. There's a lot to learn and things to keep you immersed more than what you needed. Let's take this plane out for an actual flight next time.